What if I told you that the very mind you're relying on to solve your problems is the same one keeping you trapped in them? We live in an age where thinking is glorified. Analysis, logic, planning. It's how we survive, how we succeed. But there's a point where thinking stops being a tool and becomes a prison, where the mind, instead of guiding us, begins to spiral inward, looping thoughts, endless what-ifs, and imaginary disasters. We call it overthinking. And it's more than just a bad habit. It's a quiet self-destruction, a cognitive quicksand we don't notice until we're knee-deep and sinking. Think back to a time you had to make a simple decision, maybe sending a message, taking a job, speaking your mind, and you froze. Not because you lacked information, but because your mind wouldn't shut up. You played out every scenario, every consequence, every judgment. You wanted to be sure. You wanted it to be perfect. And in the end, you did nothing. That's the dark side of overthinking. It gives the illusion of control while stealing your ability to act. It wears the yaoi mask of intelligence, but it feeds on fear. Let's take a step back. Overthinking, in its essence, is the inability to let a thought die. It's not problem solving, it's problem recycling. The same thought played over and over again, each time slightly distorted. Psychologists call this rumination. It's linked to anxiety, depression, even PTSD, because your mind is replaying danger, real or imagined, without resolution. And the brain, like a muscle, strengthens whatever it's used for. So if you rehearse fear, hesitation, and regret, guess what becomes your default? Historically, we've admired thinkers. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." But what he didn't say is what happens when thinking becomes all that you are. When your identity is built on constant analysis, you lose the ability to feel, to act, to trust. Ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius taught the opposite. They valued clarity over clutter, action over endless thought. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Simple, clean, direct. Because too much thinking fractures the soul. You begin to question your intuition. You create problems that don't exist. You become a prisoner in a cell you built with your own thoughts. And here's the kicker: overthinking feels productive. It feels like you're doing something, but it's motion without movement. Like running on a treadmill while convincing yourself you're traveling the world. We live in an era of infinite inputs. Social media, news, opinions, algorithms. Your brain is constantly bombarded with information, so it does what it was designed to do: process. But in a world that never shuts up, your thoughts never get a chance to settle. They echo, they clash, they mutate, until the noise inside becomes louder than the world outside. Ever sat awake at 3 a.m., rehashing something you said 2 weeks ago? That's your mind seeking control in a place where control no longer exists. The past cannot be changed, but overthinking convinces you that if you just think a little more, you might rewrite history. You won't. You'll just lose sleep. There's also a social cost. Overthinkers often delay decisions. Relationships suffer. Opportunities pass. And ironically, the fear of making the wrong choice becomes the very reason no choice is made. Paralysis by analysis. The tragedy is not that we think too much, but that we act too little. Let's go deeper. What drives overthinking isn't intelligence. It's fear. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of the unknown. Overthinking is your mind's attempt to predict every outcome so you can avoid pain, but life isn't a math equation, it's chaos. and in trying to control it, you end up controlling nothing except your own suffering. Take the story of Hamlet, Shakespeare's most cerebral character. He thinks, and thinks, and thinks, and in the end everyone dies. His tragedy isn't that he didn't know what to do, it's that he knew too well and still couldn't move. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies show that people who make decisions quickly, with less internal debate, are often happier. Not because they're reckless, but because they trust themselves. Overthinking is a symptom of distrust. You don't trust your instincts, your emotions, your ability to recover from a mistake. That's the ultimate fear, isn't it? Not that something will go wrong, but that you won't be able to handle it if it does. But here's the truth. You've survived every bad day you've had, every awkward moment, every failure. You've survived them all. You are stronger than your worst thoughts. So how do we escape the cage? First, awareness. Catch yourself spiraling. Ask, am I solving or am I looping? Second, limit input. You don't need to read 12 reviews before buying a light bulb. You don't need 5 opinions before answering a text. Your intuition is valid. It's been shaped by every experience you've had. Let it speak. Third, practice decisive action. Start small, pick a time to eat, stick to it, send the message, take the walk, make the call, build the muscle of movement, and finally, accept imperfection. Life isn't chess. There's no perfect move. Just the one you choose to make, and the one after that, and the one after that. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. The mind is a powerful servant and a terrible master. When it works for you, it can build empires. When it controls you, it builds cages. So ask yourself, am I thinking? Or am I hiding behind my thoughts? Because sometimes the only way out is through. If this video sparked something in you, if you saw yourself in these words, then don't just scroll past. Reflect, comment, share your experience. You're not alone in this. And if you found value here, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. There are more truths to uncover, more cages to break, more minds to free. Let's keep thinking, but let's not forget to live.